gentlemen, my name is Carla, and with me today I have Amanda, Bill, Jess, and Megan. We will be speaking to you about the Civil Rights Acts, Americans with Disabilities Acts, the Family Medical Leave Act, and how to protect your business from any legal issues that occur in the workplace. Our civil rights ensures protection from discrimination in the workplace regarding your race, your skin color, your national origin, your ethnicity, or any subjects under this kind of nature. The physical and mental integrity, life, and the safety of Americans. The Act of 1866 was mainly to intend to protect the civil rights of persons of African descent born or brought into the United States. It was passed by Congress but was vetoed by Andrew Johnson. The act declared that all persons born in the United States were automatically citizens. This act was the United States federal law to define citizenship and to affirm that all citizens are equally protected by the law. As new citizens, they are able to make and enforce contracts, sue and be sued, inherit, sell, purchase, lease, and hold and convey real physical property. The Act of 1875 prohibited discrimination in public accommodations. So regardless of your skin color, your previous condition of servitude, the same treatment applies. These places include hotels, public conveyances on water and land, and other places of entertainment. The law was generally opposed by the public. Unfortunately, Congress had no power under the 13th or 14th Amendment to really kind of construct how someone would behave. So the Supreme Court declared it as unconstitutional in 1833. Up next is the Civil Rights Act of 1957. This was the first civil rights legislature that established the Civil Rights Commission, CRC for short. This act protects an individual's rights to equal protection and permitted courts to grant injunctions in support of the Civil Rights Commission. The purpose of the Civil Rights Act was to show the federal government's support of the decisions made by Brown versus the Board of Education's decision that established the section of the Justice Department and officially ended public school segregation. The Civil Rights Act of 1960 is a federal law that established federal inspection of local voter registration polls. This act introduced penalties for anyone who obstructed someone else's attempt to register to vote or to fill out a ballot. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 was signed into law on August 6th by President Lyndon Johnson. It outlawed the discriminatory voting practices adopted in many southern states after the Civil War, including literacy tests as a prerequisite of voting. Here's a real picture of people protesting their rights to vote. Title VII is a popular act that we know today. It's used basically to protect anyone in the employment office from discrimination. The protected classes are as follows: race, gender, color, religion, national origin, and age, especially if you are 40 and older. Title VII is a popular act that prohibits employers from discriminating against their employees. This applies to businesses with 15 or more employees, including federal, state, and local governments. Title VII also applies to private and public colleges, universities, employment agencies, and labor organizations. The Fair Housing Act of 1968 is a federal law that prohibits discrimination concerning the sale, rental, and financing of housing. The effort to impose a solution to the problem of unlawful discrimination in housing based on race, color, sex, national origin, and religion. The Act of 1968 enables persons in the protected classes to rent or own residential properties in areas that were previously segregated. The enforcement of the Act is entrusted with the Department of Housing and Urban Development, that is also known as the HUD, or I said the HUD. The Act of 1991 is a federal law that prohibits the right to trial by jury on discrimination claims and introduced the possibility of having emotional stress damages while limiting the amount that the jury could reward. This act was passed in response to a series of Supreme Court decisions and limited the rights to the on employees who had sued their employers. The Act conspired affirmative action and aims to strengthen and improve federal civil rights laws. It provides for damages in cases of intentional employment discrimination, additional protection in the workplace, and discourage unlawful harassment and intentional discrimination in the workplace. An affirmative action plan or program is a program that management uses to ensure equal opportunity amongst men, women, and minorities. President John Kennedy issued the executive order that created the Committee of Equal Employment Opportunity. If an employee believes that they have been discriminated against at work, they have the right to file a charge of discrimination. This document is a signed statement asserting that an employee, union, or labor organization engaged in employee discrimination. We'll learn about that a little bit later. The field of human resources management is greatly influenced and shaped by the federal and state laws governing employment laws. Civil Rights Act enforce employers to follow fairness practices related to hiring, training, pay, benefits, and virtually all other activities and responsibilities related to human resources management. To summarize this portion of my presentation, the civil rights guarantee equal protection under the law. When civil rights are not guaranteed and just only exist on paper, if they're not respected, practice, resistance, legal action, and social unrest will occur. Up to you next is Bill to talk to you about Americans with Disabilities Act.
Pause just a second while I do something there. Today we have two activities worth 20 points each. That's 40 points. If you're not here today, so sorry. So write the text questions twice on your activities in the back of your name tags. Yes, I do have another pile of name tags. Yeah, twice. Because I'm actually using these test questions for the test today. So we only had 7 activities, the best that I can determine. We're supposed to have 10. So I'm dropping 2 for today, and then I'll plug 1. If you were here every day, you should have 9. Yeah. And most people have 8. If you have 9, I think Devin is here every day.
I think that's just something on my laptop.
Yeah, that's okay. I can plug that. Yeah, that's no problem. Twice.
And one open-ended and one for your own true or false.
And I'll open it this time. I'm going to talk about write me 5 behavioral based. That's a test question. Write 5 behavioral based test questions.
What is it, a task bar?
Yeah, it's really good. What did you say? Yeah, it's right.
It has a thing, and I have not figured it out yet.
So the max you can have is 9 activities. I will plug 1, which means there's 10, which was the course number supposed to be, and then 2 for tonight.
I don't think there's any getting that to go
Okay,
full
and that's
screen.
fine. It was just kind of I don't see maps
See,
up there very often.
I didn't notice it until you pointed it out, now it's good try.
Oh.
But when I watch like movies on here and stuff, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, and I have not figured it out.
It's not.
It drives me nuts.
Well, it doesn't drive me nuts, but I was sitting back there watching it.
When you showed me, I
Yeah.
didn't know.
So
Yeah,
show
I
me
know
your
what you're saying.
screen. What was Jewel looking at up here? So she had the slide presenter view, right? Okay, that's cool. So has everybody seen this presenter view? Let me just spin it. So what she's looking at, which I highly recommend, is she sees her slide that's up here, plus her note. So instead of the note card, if you can put it electronically, it's just a little bit less messy. And the only way to do it here is to plug in a laptop, either your Mac or your PC. It's just a great way to do presentations. Most companies, when you do a presentation, will have your laptop here and the presentation here. You'll run it on presentation view on purpose, and it will split the screens. But anyway, it's just really a cool tool if you haven't seen it in action. What's that?
It also has a timer, so you
Oh,
can see when you're coming. I emailed you.
Email us, find you.
I emailed you.
I didn't do it yet. I'll get there.
Yes,
this?
little
Is this
hack.
Questions.
Is that?
Multiple
Scan
choice,
before?
true, false.
Yeah, it didn't there.
You can think of a good
I
essay
didn't have
question, that's
paper.
fine. But,
So,
so tell me everything you learned in this class. Lucia likes that one. I'm going with the, what does RBF mean? Nobody's gonna get